Okay, we will reconvene the regular board meeting of April 27th, 2023 at 8:04 p.m. And I want to thank you for your patience. I know you didn't have a choice in the matter, but I really appreciate you sitting here with your smiles on your faces. Thank you very much for waiting. Flag salute will be led by Lester Nessa. All right, the civility statement states, communicate clearly and concisely with the respect of the time of others, listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others, understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors, understand and respect district policies and procedures, maintain a respect of the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past. 5A, report of action taken in closed session. There was no action taken. 6A, public comments, recognition, and reports. We do not have any public comments tonight. 6B, golden spotlight.
Thank you, Ms. Saxon. Maintenance and operations, a team that never stops. They're handed challenges on the regular and deal with countless and sometimes endless requests. They are the frontline team that touches our sites more than any other group. To be honest, their service routinely goes above and beyond their regular duties. They take care of anything and everything that is put in front of them. I know folks are liking the picture, so appreciate that. Thank you, Ernesto, for the picture. That's the summer crew. Ground service requests and a number of other tasks which impact the culture and climate of our school sites as well as the district office in a positive way. I have to say this is not the first time I'm going to mention this publicly, but our school sites are always pristine, and it just doesn't happen overnight. It just doesn't happen with a flip of a switch. The fantastic M&O team is led by the unbeatable, unbreakable Mr. Ernesto Mora, and they are hardworking individuals with a tall order to, yes. They fulfill their work on a daily basis, and it's always a tall order, and they do it with a smile on their faces. Without them, we'd simply not make it. They are ever so necessary part of each and every day and make everything run like a well-oiled machine. Yet through it all, this team remains steadfast. You have lived up to our district's core values. Our current maintenance and operations dynamic team, if you're here, please stand. District Office, Mr. Ken Taft, Maria Romano. Oh, remain standing. Just remain standing, please. Miss Maria Romano. At Vasquez High School, Edward Romano, Jordan Schmidt, Christina Botnick. Yes. High Desert, Juan Hernandez, Maria Gonzalez, and at the Aguilar, Marcy Baez. Can you give them a big round of applause? Oh, Mr. Mora, time to stand up. We're thrilled and honored to spotlight you for the month of April. Golden Spotlight. Picture, perhaps? Can we fit? All right, Ernesto, lead your crew. Lead your crew.
right, we'll go ahead and move to board comments. Tim? Tim, we'll go to board comments. No. Board comments about the Golden Spotlight.
Well, that's when I get to share. Right, so I've learned this counselor and trainer and it's all these things because I remember four principals and we were on the old campus and my boss came in and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm vacuuming my room." And he goes, "Why?" Because we had one person and I'm just doing it, working their tails off as a team to keep our old portables in line, and we were still very proud of it, but we were doing that. And then we saw the new campus come down, and I'm a big person, sitting like this, on this, I turned it back, I'm a big person about our ambassadors of what's our image. That is, what's the curvature of our school, from kids, places of institutions. That's where we educate, give our kids the opportunity, and that's me. And I go around and I travel around now with my assignment to the SUV, and I go to big campuses, small campuses, and I come back and I see Metal Arc, High Desert, Esquez, and I'm also so proud of the hard work this group here does to make sure that our schools are presentable, safe, they're just a fun place to be. We've got new campuses, we've got spending money on our students, and we're getting everybody back. So congratulations to you all for doing the hard job to keep our campuses looking great, because that's a good point. I don't go to the junkyard. I want to go to a nice place. I want to go someplace and I want to we're there. It attracts my attention. And then the gentleman back there, I get your name with the driver, but I didn't remember. That our mobile investors are our buses. Right. And they need to be looking presentable and showing this is a district that cares about the kids that they transit. And I used Kelly was our former board member, and I was always jealous of the Palmdale school buses because they looked like they were on the way to a car show. What the heck? But we're making progress, and every time I see a bus, the gas station or this, I guarantee you I'm evaluating that bus, and I'm proud to say that I see steady improvement. Got a ways to go yet, but I know that you're doing it. Ernesto working when we used to mow the lawns at 11 o'clock at night for a football game. All those things. We've got a crew here that are doing it, and we're really proud of you, and thank you very much for your help. Thank you.
Sorry I don't have any stories, but thank you for everything you guys do. It does show. So, thank you. How do I get one of those sweatshirts?
Here's a note.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for everything you do. Obviously, our campuses are beautiful, and that wouldn't happen without every one of you. So, thank you, and it's very much appreciated.
Okay, I love all that lovely stuff, but how many Williams complaints have we had about facilities? Yeah, 0, that's right. That's how I measure it. And how many students are we short of being ADA self-sufficient? 407? Yeah. Where are we going to put them? I think floor space, I can tell you that. When you want to expand floor space, you go to people to spend money. I didn't say bond, and not anybody bond. But when we take that reserve, and I got to be looking for a place to put kids, you know what people's first argument is about this facilities expansion? That you don't take care of what you have. I've worked at a lot of fine places. I'll put the floors up at Metal Arc School for cleanliness against anything. Do you remember when they were carpet? Did you notice that some of the kids were having like molds constantly because there's like more stuff in the carpet and you didn't think of it? But when we go to somebody and say, hey, we need to do something, the first argument is those who don't take care of what you have. That's not the case. You guys do a fine job of stacking up any facilities team there is. You're always very responsive to Ernesto.
talk about the kumbaya stuff. I have had the pleasure of working directly with most of you, either in my capacity as a school district employee or during the summertime where I was allowed to work with maintenance and with custodial and keep me working during the summer so that my family didn't starve. And that was Ernesto giving extra hours to employees to get the jobs done in the summertime, get the maintenance and the custodial extra help, and also help out single moms to feed their children. So I owe you more than you know. And Tim, do you want to arm wrestle to see who's known Ernesto longer? Because I'll win. I win. I've known Ernesto since we were out here on this playground, before even High Desert Junior High or any of that. We've known each other since elementary school, and I'm so proud that you are my friend, and I'm proud of all of the accomplishments that you have made. You are an incredible human being, you're an incredible friend, you're an incredible father, and so many people look up to you in everything that you've been able to accomplish. So, I'm not a problem. So I have worked directly with Marcy and with Miss T and with Jordan and teaching me how to strike the fields and mow the lawns, and that is a blast. If any of you guys have, I strike the fields. I have pictures to prove it where the thing blew up in my face and I had white paint all over. I installed that mower out several times mowing the grass, but it was still a lot of fun. So if you guys have not had the chance to go work in the summertime with maintenance and custodial, it's actually really hard work, but such a blast because you guys are awesome. You guys are amazing, and you made that work really fun. I do want to say hats off to the custodians that work at nighttime, because that has to be the most terrifying job, to be on a school campus all by yourself at night walking out. That's terrifying. So thank you all for what you do. You guys are just absolutely incredible, and you're the backbone of our school and our facilities, and you do keep them looking stellar. So thank you very much. All right, we're going to go ahead and go to 7A, ADA representative. He is not present. 7B, a CSCA representative. Woo, we have a spacer.
Good evening, board members and Superintendent Dr. Stotkin. I'm Cesar Ortiz. We just wanted to come out and today and show some support for classified staff. It's so awesome to see that our members are getting recognized for their great work. We wanted to thank the district for the district-sponsored PD day that they provided during spring break for classified employees. It was greatly appreciated by the staff, as the classified employees did not anticipate 3 weeks of vacation at Christmas. This was the first year that we had 3 weeks, so it was heavily impacting their vacation time since it's deducted from non-student days. The extra PD definitely helped our staff get a little money and save some vacation time. And also thank you to maintenance for allowing some of the some employees to help out also during spring break to get some hours also. That's all I have. Thank you very much. And good night.
Thank you, Caesar. 7C, student representative to the board.
So I'll read her report. Emily is a very busy Mustang, but very conscientious, and she sent me her report, so if I may. Last week, all three of our schools pulled off an amazing fundraiser with a Harlem Wizards basketball team. Our teachers combined to form the Meadow Hawk Mustangs team and really show their skill on the court. The fundraiser had a great turnout with the stands packed to the brim with community members and families from all schools. By the way, I'm veering off script. Miss Heather Milioti came up with Meadow Hawk Mustangs, so thank you, Heather, for all that you've done and continue to do. High Desert hosted a roadshow for the fourth graders today to give them a glimpse of middle school life. And tomorrow from 4 to 6 in the Vasquez gym, the High Desert basketball team will have a game against Soar Prep. Today was a busy day for our Vasquez sports teams. Correction? News. Yes. Good job. Thank you. That's a great update. We'll take it. Today was a busy day for Vasquez sports teams. Baseball had an away game. Trinity Classical. Softball played Desert Christian. Our track team had their final league meet at ABC, and our boys volleyball team had their first CIF playoffs game all the way in San Luis Obispo. With AP exams starting next week, our students have been busy preparing, studying, and the end of the year is highly anticipated. And she put an exclamation mark there. This is all for this week. Thank you. Thank you, Emily. And good luck at your track meet tonight.
7D, Superintendent Gold Standard Report.
Okay, thank you. Before we begin the report, I'd like to share some community announcements. There are a total of 5, 4, whatever you see up on the screen. The Agua Dulce Women's Club presents kids movie night showing Paws of Fury. That's the movie title. Sounds like a dog I once owned. The meal is included, and tickets are free. The event is on May 13th. Doors open at 3:30 for all local elementary. Past testing starts up next week. Each year, students in grades 3 through 8 and high school participate in the CAS California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress. This year, your child will take the following tests for English Language Arts, Literacy, and Math in grades 3 through 8 and 11th grade, and the California Science Test CAST for short in grades 5 and 8. To help your child get ready for the test, just make sure your child gets a good night's sleep and a nutritious breakfast before testing. All right, continue with student achievement. On Friday, last Friday, the 21st, I had the honor of attending the 29th annual CCAP, the Los Angeles Scholarship Awards Breakfast. CCAP is Careers Through Culinary Arts program, alongside with our awesome Vasquez High School Culinary Arts teacher, Miss Christina Wagner. It was a great opportunity to not only see the awards and scholarships the CCAP competitors received, but to also hear about the information about the wonderful program and CCAP opportunities for all students across LA County. Our graduating senior and culinary arts student, Ms. Haley Rudd, competed against 17 different high schools with a total of 32 competitors. At the awards breakfast ceremony, Haley was the recipient of a $5,500 scholarship. She was not aware of being named the scholarship recipient, but she graciously accepted the award. We are thrilled for her. Job well done, Haley. Congratulations. All right, community engagement. On March 25th, I attended the Harmonic Bronze Spring Concert with the theme of What Music Means to Me. Wonderful performances, yet again, of course, by the Monday, Tuesday, and Friday groups, alongside with the adult group. We had a special guest, not a guest, but she's a participant, our board president, a part of the adult group that night, so congratulations to all. And a special congratulations to Mr. Rowland for your leadership, passion, and dedication. Just don't know where you find the time. Thank you, Mr. Rowland. All right, a quick update to our strategic planning process. We kicked off our strategic plan development team sessions on March 20th and 21st. And we concluded the strategic plan development team sessions on April 6th with a 6-hour session. Thank you to all of our educational partners for signing up to be on the development team. We would also like to thank our student participants for a job well done. The writing team is now tasked with taking the main themes from our sessions and updating the existing strategic goals and how we define these goals moving forward. This will include actionable items as well as measurable goals so that we could go ahead and be accountable for each step that we move forward quarterly. So we look forward to presenting the final draft of the updated strategic plan to our development team that you see up on the screen, and then as well as to our trustees very soon. Last but not least, utilization of fiscal capital. Yesterday we received our AB 1200 letter from LACO, Los Angeles County Office of Education. Pursuant to Assembly Bill 1200, the Los Angeles County Superintendent of Schools has reviewed our district proposed collective bargaining agreement with ADA and Certificated Management. The agreement provides for a 9% on-schedule salary increase retroactive to July 1st, 22, and a one-time 3% off-schedule payment and increase of $1,000 to the employee contribution of health and welfare benefits. With these costs of the agreements incorporated, LACO concurs that the district will meet the required reserves during the term of the agreement. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Moving on to 7E, COVID-19 report.
Okay, COVID report. As of April 4th, LA County is in the low category, continues to be in the low category for CDC COVID-19 community levels. DPH, Department of Public Health. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here. The COVID report does it all the time. Sorry. DPH is no longer giving daily counts for COVID infections in the area. Some information given may be a week old. Between our last report of March 23rd until last week Friday, the Acton, Agua Dulce surrounding areas had seen 10 new cases of COVID-19. In our school community, there have been 5 positive cases reported since March 23rd, and exposure notifications, as required, have been sent out to those affected. We want to remind parents to test their students if they have any symptoms and keep them home for fever, vomiting, or unusual cough. CHPH wants us to remember to keep up. If you are a Medi-Cal recipient, they want to remind you to check your account to make sure your contact information is correct. Many people will lose their coverage in the next few months if things are not up to date. Flyers with website information are available at all school sites and district offices. And this concludes the COVID report.
Thank you. 7F, submissions.
No submission.
All right, moving on to 8, board comments. Tim?
Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot to say tonight, so I'm going to do that. Welcome everybody back from spring break, and our students know that this is the final push for the end of the school year, so getting projects and getting prepped for assessments. As Tom mentioned, we have AP testing coming up, so we wish our AP students the best as they go forward and do their testing in the next weeks. And then I want to compliment Heather Milioti-Flett for the Harlem Wizard organization. That was a fun night. And she asked me, she said, "For this film?" I said, "No, this is the full effect senior gym where everybody shares."
Exceptional, and for these staff members that participated, that, good for you. Because we had basketball players and we didn't have basketball players, but it looked like everybody had a great time. And the biggest takeaway for me, other than the little kids having a great time, was that I learned that Mr. Jorgensen doesn't know how to score basketball.
I was told that by one of the players.
For some reason, we were keeping up with those professional ball players. That's it for me. Thank you.
Hey Kevin, no contracts? I'm not going to be at the next meeting, so if you want to slide anything through, that would be fine.
I got you.
When I first started coming here, there was an ADA representative at every single one of these board meetings, and it seems to not have been one of the last 4 meetings. So I think nice to have that. Someone here from Aadusd for a meeting, so hopefully we can get that again.
Baseball. Baseball.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. But it's been the last like 3 or 4 that hasn't been. So somebody. It would be nice to see it. Just to reiterate on the Wizards game, that was fantastic. Again, special thanks to all the staff and Heather for putting all that together. It was nice to see them pull together all the campuses the way they did. That was, I think, was one of the biggest goals of it, and I think it went well. Another topic. So I know we have a lot of students that are planning to come to our schools next year, and I think not all of them are actually schools that started with us. They're not going to school necessarily with us. They're coming from different backgrounds. They're coming from different school experiences, and I think we should really start putting some thought about how we make sure they can be successful here. We have our own brand and our own environment here, and where they're coming from, they may not have things like homework, or they may have been in homeschool all this time. So I think that we have exceptional schools, but we certainly have our own way of creating success there, and having some focus on those kids, and especially communication with parents to make sure that they all transition smoothly. It's stressful enough coming to a new school, having to learn all the rules as well. I think would maybe we put some focus on that. I think it would be good. Next, I got an opportunity to go to governance training for 3 days, so that was quite exciting. And I was able to kind of learn how to apply everything that I think I knew from like a business perspective, and just kind of shift my seat just slightly and see how it all applies to what it means to be a good board member. So I'll encourage everyone to attend it. It was a 3-day session, went really well. I think the people that were involved in it put it on, did a fantastic job, and the people that attended it, I think it was some of the top educators in our community around us were at that. I think it was fantastic. It was good. Next thing, I think as a school district, I think I want to remind everyone what our core values are. I'm not going to ask anybody to tell me what the core values are of the district, but I will read them to you. It's respect, responsibility, integrity, courage, and caring. I think the way we treat each other as fellow employees, fellow staff members, really will flow down to the way that the children that we're supposed to be responsible for educating will feel about us as schools. So if we're doing this with each other, and we're doing it with the students, and we're doing it with the staff, and everybody has these values in mind, then that's the way it starts, and that's the way that everyone will feel when they work with us. So I'm just going to say it again, right? Respect, responsibility, integrity, courage, and caring. Every interaction you have with a student, or with a staff member, or anyone, need to think about those things as you're having them. If you do that, I think we'll all be very successful. Unit cohesion is a tremendous part of what we need to have as a team, as we're responsible for educating the kids out here. And an effective team actually shows caring for each other. They actually care about each other. And if that's true, there's no team that can beat us. That's all I have.
Lester, you're welcome. Okay, a couple things here. On April 1st, I attended the arts presentation at the high school. There were 3 rows of chairs. It was a wonderful presentation, but given the effort that was put into getting the grant for the arts program, given the community effort that was put towards it, I don't want to say I was disappointed, but the room should have been stacked full. There were kids there that were trying to sing when they're painters. There were painters there that were trying to... So there's a depth of student talent here, and we need to give the students the ability to show that talent, whether it's easels in the back or whatever it is they do. And I'll say this again, if you are going to invite me to an event
have the superintendent invite me. That way I can guilt all the other board members to see the weak level of support we're giving arts from this level. That hurts me to say that, but everything about it was put on. Even Tammy made the credits, and so everybody was included, but I'm not sure they were included in the way that they would express their arts ability. When you have students that are expressing their ability in arts through whatever it is they do, someone else that's younger than them will be able to say, hey, somebody else does that. So the kind of thing that Lester is talking about, rather than having somebody scream that in your face while they're beating on a trash can with a baton in boot camp, these little things like one kid helping another actually is where arts takes people into the kind of things he's talking about. So the next time we have something like that, I don't want to hijack Night of the Stars, but I do think there's some room in the back where we historically hand out cookies. Maybe we could put some easels up and let some of these kids who didn't get to show their talents at the art show their talent there. I'd very much appreciate the support from that and staff. Okay, I attended the LCAP meeting for the focus on special education. I tried to participate as a parent. People were expressing their concerns with the district and its ability to provide services that us parents think we need, or that our lawyer thinks we need, or etc. But I did participate in that. I appreciate everyone coming forward that did participate. I know that the staff was accurate in capturing what was said, and that will inform our LCAP. So I don't just leave there and do nothing. There is what's called the Advisory Commission on Special Education to the State Board of Education. So I popped into their meeting and I read a couple of comments, and I'll read those into the record here tonight. The first one is, I don't know if everyone knows this, but the funding model for the state of California includes a $1 amount. It's huge. And then for some reason, they meter that out to school districts by some formula that we may not understand. In our districts, those small rural districts, sometimes we don't have the right classifications of different people, you know, the way we sort people into slots, and we kind of get punished by the formula. And there's one way that this particularly happens, and this is a delicate situation, but there's something called SED, severe emotional disturbance. And what ends up happening is sometimes people need a great deal of mental health, they need counseling, they may not be safe for themselves or others. And when you have a person like that, it's not their fault, it's an eligibility, it's not something that we try to minimize or something. But the way the current funding model works is, if this district can't afford the placement, meaning we can't put in the facility, we can't hire the specialists, we don't have the staff, what ends up happening is they are placed in another place, and the district pays for that. Now, you would think that the state model in these really low incidence things, meaning not very many people have them, you see speech being a high incident thing, you're seeing autism and things being on the spectrum as a higher incident, these really low incidence things, for some reason the funding model has the state charging the district for what can be costs of $250,000 a year back to the district. And what that does, at least in my mind, is it tells staff in the district, you may know that this child needs this. You may feel that this child needs this. But say you're a principal and you're looking at something, you're saying, I think there's something wrong here. And if the administrator of finance is the wrong person, you're kind of like, you can't report that, you can't do that. And so what ends up happening, the lawyers jump in, you have out-of-state placements, and most of the time those out-of-state placements are in non-public schools or agencies. And then the district that can't supply the services is left to oversee something that's not even a public agency. I find it really hard to believe that there's not a public agency or public school in the state of California that's able to take care of the needs of a person like this, to the point where you ship them out of state to some, I got to be careful here, but I think it's a huge hole in the model. I think that there's a certain incidence of that going on in the state, And I think those programs should be funded directly under state. And if the district is not able to provide what they call local control or oversight, then you don't have them wondering what's going on in Utah while we're paying out thousands and thousands of dollars a month. Look at the warrant register. That's all I can say. Here was my comment to the State Advisory Commission. Good afternoon, Chair Hayes White, Commissioners. I'm Ken Falls, you have board member from Mackinac Dulce. I would like to thank the Commission for its continued attention to SED out-of-state placements. There are times when the current funding model falls short, creating budgetary challenges for small school districts, with out-of-state SED placements being a prime example. In these cases, costs can put financial and legal strategies ahead of student needs, placing SPED staff and administrators in an odd position, not to mention the biases that are formed in the process. I encourage the Commission's continued attention to this matter to include consideration of SED funding models that not debilitate the budget of LEAs and oversight that consider student need while being appropriate dispersal of public funds to non-public agencies, especially those outside of California. In simple language, what that means is do not put a special education director in a small district knowing that a child needs $250,000 of care and is going to go out of state, be separated from all their friends, all their family, everything they've ever known, and put an educator in a position to have to know, you know what, if I make this recommendation to my administrators, it's going to collapse the district's budget. That's where strategy and that's where lawyers come in, and none of that puts funding back in our classrooms to effect. No one gets helped in that situation, not even the kid that needs it. My second thing was, I think we all know, if you don't, there were 2 lawsuits filed simultaneously at almost the initiation of COVID when everything went virtual. And it was on behalf of every special education student in the state of California, so it was filed as a class action in the state of California. Simultaneously, in New York, the same thing was done. When you combine a case filing like that, it automatically becomes a federal case. And so school districts responded knowing that you can't take an IEP that was rolled out to happen in a school site and be performing those things online. So it placed everybody in a terrible position. And so there's been a lot of legal work going on in the background in the state of California, state of New York, saying, look, we have to give funding to this to try to catch up and do all these things and at least give people the opportunity. So they've had a couple of programs that appear on the surface to be a way for people to recover, but they're not really funded. And one of those was a program where they call it alternative dispute resolution. So you take someone that's disgruntled, they're fighting with the district, you throw them at the last second, hope that a smiling face that appears to be a puppet coming from the district is going to keep you out of a due process case. So there's another $125,000 out the window on lawyers just out of the chute. The problem is that this funding was never, there was no accountability to it. So I'm going to read what I said. Sorry I'm taking so long here, but when you start talking about where our budget goes, this is it. There's a second day. Good afternoon, Chair Hayes White, Commissioners. I'm Kevin Falljap, board member from Mackinac Dulce. Thank you for placing this discussion item on today's agenda. I am not sure of the details, but the California State University System, the Family Empowerment Program, and our SELPA, which is the Special Education Local Plan Area, are combining to put out what are known as parent partners to assist parents in our north area of North Los Angeles County. I hope that as we move out of the theory of how this will all work, we can focus on efforts that will work to introduce new customers to special education services, which are typically parents. Being available as a parent partner to support and inform a new parent early in the game will be far more effective than putting a smiling face in as a last-ditch effort to avoid a due process filing in an already contentious situation. Thank you, Commission, for your continued attention on how actual success will be measured and reported out as this program is rolled out. And please continue its funding. And then I made a comment to a commissioner who has shared her personal experiences. The bottom line here is this is a Band-Aid program. We have people around here, some closer than you may think, that have been trained in how to do this. And that effort is to start off with the kids in pre-K and special day class to come in early and help the parents understand how to navigate the process and what's available. Next thing I want to talk about is Assembly Bill 1517, which basically affects special education. And what they're saying at the state level is that the districts are being challenged to, Lester, help me with this one, reconcile their actual services. So what they're saying is the state wants the district to, if you have a total of X number of IEP minutes of speech or OT or physical therapy, whatever it is, that now they want the district to report itself that the minutes that the people are agreeing to in the IEP are actually happening. Think about that. There's staff shortages, there's all these things, but they basically want the superintendents to verify that everything they said in the IEP is being given and sign a document. So Bill 1517 calls for a local plan to be developed by the individual superintendents for their individual students. So you take the blocks of students, whatever their needs may be, you identify them, and you have to write your local plan to address the specific needs of the students. It's a state mandated program, which means the county comes out of it. Now you're acting and answering to the state. My problem with state mandated programs is how many of them are actually funded fully. So now you've got more people looking at more numbers. You take people away from the classroom to run numbers, and they're basically calling the school district liars, especially the big ones. They're underreporting. And it's all like, I hate to go here, but I'm going to. Only I will go here. You take the grow house enforcement. Was that ever funded? No, it wasn't. So nobody figured out when you start selling stuff on the street, in a store, other people are going to do it. So they never funded the unauthorized thing. So guess where the money comes from? You have a choice to make if you're the local sheriff. You decide, I'm not going to let this happen, or I'm going to turn my head to it and go back to policing. Well, the things you've been policing, that the effort you're taking off of this is now suddenly given to the grow house bus and tearing those down and call it a code enforcement deal. Now you've lost your ability to, as a continuous services that your customers are used to. These bills are the same thing. If you're going to mandate something, and they're even talking about changing credentialing of teachers and all that kind of thing, if you're going to do this, then give us the money to do it. That's all. Mr. Money's back there shaking his head. This is the kind that will go to those things and bring this thing up and not just glad hand everybody and say, you got to give us the money to do these things. I went to a charter school hearing at the AV Union High School district. It was very, very interesting. The charter is kind of familiar in one way or another. There's a couple words changed, but they came forward. What I found very interesting is, you all know from the old days how charters were. I mean, I had people with guns pointed at me basically up here. But at the end of the day, when I was asking the questions, the ones that could answer them were standing at the end, and the rest of them, I don't know what happened to them. But the AV Union High School District, for the first time I've ever seen this, the staff report was given by a third-party hired attorney. And all they did was look at the 8 reasons why you could deny a charter petition, and they found none. And what that does, it takes all the faces out in front and the crying and all the alliances and the backdoor deals and somebody sticking money in their pocket and all that kind of thing that used to plague this place. And it's either legal or it's not legal. And if it's not legal, then guess what? You pretty much vote yes or no. I found that a very interesting approach. I may actually advocate for that in the future. I went to the Antelope Valley CAC meeting yesterday. They covered the local plan. 10 districts, representatives from each district in the area of special education, go over the plan, talked about that. We'll actually have to vote on that. This all ties back to the days of just filling out a plan and making it work for one geographic region. Those days are over. That group televises their meeting, so if you'd like to see what's going on and you have a child at home that's difficult, that you can't actually go there. I applaud them on making everything available to their audience, and they're building kind of a library of know yourself. I know the different programs that go with it. Yeah, I was actually able to participate in the LAXTA, which is Los Angeles County School Trustees Association, the governance training. They do 4 sessions. They're a couple hours, one night a week. Lester was participating. He was talking about how the business world works and how accountability works. Usually that's what I did. I just sat back and watched Lester take the flag for a little bit, but thank you for participating. What else do we have? I think that's it. Thank you. This is how business is important to me because it really affects your budget, and you never hear about it because it's all back there. Thanks.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and try to keep my comments super short. First, Emily, I'm sure you're not listening, but if somebody could let her know that we really appreciate her, even though she can't be here in person, she always puts together a really awesome report that includes all 3 schools and the great things that all the schools are doing. So Emily, we really, really appreciate you. And I applaud you for getting all of the things done. That's really incredible for such a young person to be able to juggle. Haley Rudd, our past student representative to the board, congratulations on your scholarship. That's really very cool for our students to be out there getting recognized for the great things that they're doing. I know we have so many students that are getting different scholarships, so kudos to all of those seniors that are getting ready to fly the coop. That basketball game, I think that I'm the only person in Acton and Agua Dulce that was not able to make it. I saw so many different videos on social media, and it looked like, oh my gosh, so much fun. I was definitely very sad. So Heather, kudos to you for putting all that together. And I know when I had spoken to her right after, she mentioned some things that didn't quite go as planned, and I'm like, but look what did. Holy moly, she put together such an incredible event. And I think I haven't heard one, not even kind of negative thing. Everything I've heard is just absolutely incredible about that whole event and how much fun people had. So way to go, Heather. Way to go, employees that played. And thank you to everybody for filling that gym. I was asked during the last board meeting to make a 5-minute limit on board member comments. I didn't feel comfortable making that limit without thinking about it, so I have thought about it for the last month, and I am not going to make a limit on board member comments. And here's why. There's so many different things that we as board members are not allowed to talk about. We're not allowed to converse with people about. There's so many things that we have to be very tight-lipped about. This is our only time that we're able to, as board members and as representatives of our community, to put things on the record that aren't solely in the board agenda. This is our time to make those comments that we do want to get onto the record. And I think that limiting that would be a disservice to the people that voted to put us up here. So I will not be limiting, and that is why. So I appreciate people bringing things to me and suggestions like that, and I welcome it. So if anybody has any other suggestions, I will take it to heart and I will think about it. And I just wanted to give a reason why I'm not going to put that specific limit in place. So I am looking forward to the end of the year festivities. Our calendars are filling up super fast. Thank you for Yolanda for making sure that those are all on our calendar. I really appreciate all of the invites, and I'm definitely looking forward to all of the end of the year celebrations, promotions, ASMO concerts, Night of the Stars, graduations. It's going to be definitely a busy month or so, and it's going to be awesome. So that's the end of my comments. So I'll go ahead and move on to 9A, approval of consent calendar items. The consent calendar consists of 9B, minutes of the regular board meeting on March 23rd, 2023, and 9C, warrant register. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for question. All those in favor?
Ed Jorgensen, aye. Dawson, aye.
Lester, aye.
Bulger, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. And 10A, personnel action report. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
We have an amended part. Subheadings were edited for clarity. Other than that, content remains the same as what was posted.
Thank you. Discussion? Call for question. All those in favor?
Ed Jorgensen, aye. Dawson, aye.
Lester, aye.
Bulger, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. 10B, job description, school counselor, updated from the previous job description. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Dr. Sahakian?
So the counselors have been working with Ms. Shaw, who oversees the counselors, for the updating of their job descriptions, just to keep it up to date in terms of what they're doing currently with their assignments, and making sure that what they're doing really relates and correlates to the job description itself, and hence the update per the attachment on the board docs. I'm not sure if Ms. Shaw has anything else to add. She's shaking her head no. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion? Call for question. All those in favor?
Ed Jorgensen, aye. Dawson, aye.
Lester, aye.
Bulger, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. 10C, tentative agreement between AADUSD and AATA for the 2022-23 school year. Can I get a motion?
Move.
Second.
It's recommended to the board to approve the tentative agreement between AADUSC and ADA. And like I mentioned earlier in the superintendent's report, 9% on schedule increase, 3% off schedule, and $1,000 employee health benefits contribution.
Discussion? Call for question. All those in favor?
Ed Jorgensen, aye. Tom Costin, aye.
Lester, aye.
Bulger, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. 10D, memorandum of understanding between Acton Aadusd Meeting Unified School District and the Acton Aadusd Teachers Association. Can I get a motion?
I'll move. Second.
The MOU as attached includes newly added stipends as well as adjustments to stipend compensation. Ms. Shaw, anything that you'd like to add? And the calendar as well, as part of the MOU for the next 3 years out. Thank you.
Discussion? Call for question. All those in favor?
Ed Jorgensen, aye. Costin, aye.
Mask, aye.
Bulger, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. 10E, amendment to employee agreement, assistant superintendent of business services. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Dr. Sahakian?
This agenda item is here to amend the salary set placement for the original contract that was approved last month from March 2024 to July 2023 for salary step increase.
Discussion? Am I hearing no discussion down there, or are you still thinking?
No, I don't have it.
Okay.
I have just a quick question. There is performance review attached to this.
The performance review per the original contract is listed. Yes, for the March 2024 stipend increase with a satisfactory performance review. The July 1st recommendation for salary step has a performance evaluation prior to the quarterly performance evaluation by July 1st for a salary step increase, if approved.
No questions.
Was it intimated to this employee that they would be starting at step 2?
There was an understanding by the employee that the salary step 2 would commence July 1st of 2023.
Is that in line with the performance evaluation that would trigger that step increase?
Yes.
So the decision point here is that the effective date of the salary increase would be July 1st? Is that what
Correct.
the action item is?
Correct.
Okay, is that everyone's understanding? Okay, I'm done.
So there was a contract presented from our Human Resources Department to a new employee.
Correct.
Did that employee have time to read through the contract, or were they made to sign the contract right then and there without being given the chance to read their contract?
The former. They had an opportunity to.
They had an opportunity. So this person had an opportunity to read the contract. They had an opportunity to sign or not sign the contract. Then this contract was brought to the board. We had the opportunity to vote for the contract or against the contract. This person signed the contract, they read the contract, they signed their contract. It was brought to the board voted for their contract. That's all correct. When does a classified employee receive a step increase?
Classified employee typically receives a step increase after 1 year of satisfactory performance.
What is the length of their probationary period?
I'm going to defer to Ms. Shaw. Probationary period.
6 months or 130 work days. Calendar days.
So 6 months. Do we evaluate and give raises after 4 months to any other employee in this district?
No.
No. What's concerning to me is the nature of this agreement is from our Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, whose job it is to read contracts, did not read the contract that they signed and that was presented to the board for us to vote on it. So we are now giving a raise to somebody who is not reading. That's fine. We're giving a raise to somebody who has not read their own contract, simply because we haven't read our own contract. So can a classified or a certificated employee come and say, I did not read my own contract, please give me a raise? Is that something that any employee can do?
Generally, no.
I would just like to point out that if we are going to start giving raises after 4 months, if I were still sitting in a union position where I came from, I would be paying a lot of attention to that. And that would be my next goal, is if we're going to give classified management raises after 4 months, we should be giving all employees raises after 4 months. We can move back around. Yes, please.
Okay, so I have a question for Dr. Zahaki here and maybe Ms. Shaw. So the contract that we had originally approved for the position there was an error on that it said July 1st, or it said 22 or 23, or did it go July 1st, 24? I don't have it in front of me. For the evaluation rate.
The original contract approved last month, March, indicated a step increase with a satisfactory performance evaluation, March of 2024.
2024.
It doesn't give a date, I don't believe.
There's something there was something omitted originally, in my understanding, by whatever reason, and then we clarified it, then the other, while we're thinking about that, the other thing is that my thing of the administrators are at-will employees. There isn't any like 2-year probation like certificated employees in the district. Is that correct? They can go 1 year and then be let go in 1 year.
Right.
With the exception of yourself.
Correct.
Right? So they're at-will employees. So my understanding was in the original contract that there was an update that we're dealing with now that clarified it. But this first year we need to honor what we signed, and then the evaluation process in 2024, that 1 year will be going, and there will be in compliance with the contract as was, because there was some correction, we had to add a date or something to it.
Sorry to interrupt, the original contract has evaluations as March 31st of each year.
Of each year.
Of each year.
So when the employee started,
March
this employee started date was what again?
March 15th of this year.
March 15th, so by the March 31st, there would be an evaluation, and then that, based on that evaluation, there was no clarification of that.
The narrative under evaluation indicates annual evaluation will be in writing and completed by March 31st of each year except for 2023 school year.
And then with whatever reflected adjustment going on July 1st.
What is section 2 under compensation?
So section 2, would you like to share?
You have it in front of you, the compensation.
No, I know.
But it
But what
doesn't say-
section?
No, right under compensation, you read
Which
their
paragraph?
compensation, and it says under recommendation of the superintendent and approval of the board, the assistant superintendent of business services salary may be adjusted during the term of this agreement by the same percentage, if any, applied to the salaries of other management employees with the same effective date. Any adjustment in salary made during the term of this agreement shall be in the form of an amendment and shall become a part of this agreement, but any failure to attach the adjustment salary amount of an amendment shall not affect the validity or amount of any such adjustment. The board reserves the right to increase the salary of any or all the years of the assistant superintendent of business contract. Any such amendment shall be ratified and reported in open session at a regularly scheduled board meeting in accordance with applicable law. There is no annual or after X amount of time. There was no time frame put on when he would give his adjustment. It doesn't say July, it doesn't say March, it doesn't say when he would get it. That's what the amendment's for, to clarify when his annual would come.
So you're injecting an amendment into the contract to say,
And when he gives his annual.
right. But there is going to be, you're recommending an adjustment to the compensation or to the step.
That's
It's like a certificated employee, you know, like even if the teacher even got hired mid-year and they start at step 1, as of July 1st, they go to step 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You said that we're just clarifying that.
Right.
Right. Okay.
That's each step.
Okay.
So I think there was discussions had that made the employee feel like this was coming, and contracts aren't always crystal clear. And even if they're implied on things, you'll take the conversations you've had with people and decide that's what's going to happen. Is that correct?
yes.
Yeah.
In this case, that is.
So by putting this contract forward, which core value are you living up to? Would it be integrity?
Sure, that applies.
Okay.
Of upholding intent with integrity.
So,
I'm not inclined to give raises on their 4 months of significant raises, so I'm not going to go back and forth because I've shared my thoughts and feelings. Does anybody else have any other discussion?
Both questions.
One further question. So,
refer to Ms. Shaw. I know there's discussions in terms of correspondence between candidate at the time with HR and Ms. Shaw in terms of negotiation of salary.
Yes, there was discussion about how at July 1st, then step 1 would change to step 2, but that was not put into the contract that he
It was discussed as how the contract was expected to be executed.
Yes.
Why wasn't it put into the contract?
I cannot answer that. I don't know.
It was an error that they're trying to correct.
Call for question, all those in favor?
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Tom Costin, aye.
Lester Mascon, aye.
Brianna Texoni, no, and 1 absent. 11A, Resolution 2022-23, 10, delegating authority to Kevin Vensko to act on behalf of member Acton Alvarosa Unified School District. Can I get a motion?
Tim moves.
Second.
SIRMA 1 stands for Self-Insured Risk Management Authority, is an insurance pool serving Antelope Valley, districts located in Antelope Valley, forgive me, essentially workman's compensation. So this is a recommendation to have Mr. Vensko as delegating authority on behalf of our district for SIRMA 1.
Discussion?
This is assuming Mr. Vensko is still willing to work with us after what we just witnessed.
Call for question, all those in favor?
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Tom Costin, aye.
Mascon, aye.
Waltrip, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. 11B, public disclosure of proposed collective bargaining agreement AB 1200, AB 2756, GC 3547.5.
So the district is required to this.
We need a motion, right? To the action item.
Can I get a motion?
Tim Jorgensen moves.
Second.
District is required to disclose fiscal impact for the settled year, which is this fiscal year 22-23. The settlement includes, as mentioned before, 9% salary increase, schedule increase, and a one-time off salary schedule payment of 3% effective July 1st, 2022. In addition, an increase in employer paid benefits cap of $1,000 effective July 1st of 2022.
Discussion? Call for question, all those in favor?
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Costin, aye.
Lester, second.
Waltrip, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. 11C, salary schedule for Ada. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
We recommend to our trustees to approve the Teachers Association salary schedule to reflect the negotiated changes as discussed prior.
Discussion? Call for question, all those in favor?
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Costin, aye.
Lester, aye.
Waltrip, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. 11D, salary schedules for certificated management and salary schedules C, Y, and Z. Can I get a motion?
Tim moves.
I'll second.
In addition, salary schedules for certificated management as well as Schedule C, Y, and Z to reflect the negotiated changes as mentioned prior.
Discussion?
I have a clarification on this, but I see that it's still here. In describing the position titles on the first one, certificated management salary schedule C, we are still referring to our principals as director, high school principal. That I recall that director was added several years ago. The principal of the high school. And at the time that director was put there under for whatever reasons, to warrant a raise for those positions. I don't understand why we're calling them director, school principal.
Thank you, noted. We could go ahead and make those adjustments. Mr. Vensko?
Yeah, if the board so chooses to agree that the director can offer that, we can certainly make that change. Like I said, we were just keeping it forward with what the last board approved salary schedule was, and it's in, I believe, May of 2022. So without making any changes other than the negotiated change, that's what we had done for the salary schedule.
Well, I appreciate your input on that, but I burn my finger and I see a scar, it doesn't go away. To me, that's a scar. That director, they're principals of a high school, they're an administrator of our high school, look after our individual school sites. That's all, I'm done.
They do say principal at the end. Now, I do also know that these classifications match the job descriptions themselves.
I think it's just a word to me. It's a deceptive word that was put in there 7, 9, 10 years ago. I don't think we need to. That's all I have.
Is that it?
Yeah, I'm done.
I have to tie my shoe. Here's what worries me about this. Is this reported to LACO?
Yes, that was the
Okay, so we're basically changing a job title and description.
I just told him if we're gonna change it, then we have to bring the job descriptions to the board to change.
That's what
the
I
job
was hearing.
description.
So do you want to table this, or do we want to, because I'm fixing to go sit in the audience again. I don't think we have the authority just to, not on the agenda, pull titles apart. Tim, I'm with you, I got scars on my back over this, but
there could be two real options, I guess. You could, one, table this salary schedule.
is it possible that, Tim, could you agree that this needs to be reviewed by next year?
Yeah, I'm not asking for it to be changed. I'm making comment about that observation. I would like it to be addressed because that's old. We need to get updated. That's all I'm saying. It does not have to be done tonight.
I agree with you, but I don't want to hang up the vote on something that goes late.
I think we go ahead and vote on it, and they know my comments, they concerns, and they can come back with recommendations for any adjustment.
Noted, thank you.
Would the time to make this correction be when the contracts are renewed for individuals, because you're changing their job titles?
Yeah, it could go on the next board if
Next year.
Mascot eye.
Can we put that on a future agenda item? So we'll go ahead and vote on the,
Is there any other discussion going on?
we'll go ahead and vote on the salary schedule that is on the table now, as is. Call for question, all those in favor?
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Costa, aye.
Mascot eye.
Balls drop by.
Brianna Texel, aye. 11E.